right?
And we're gonna record just in case.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
Heather.
Right.
Hi.
I think all those cool backgrounds y'all got. Everyone in my like little display window has cool backgrounds except for me.
I know.
All right,
We can put it in the chat again, and then you can.
I'm gonna put it in the
Yeah.
chat for you. But you gotta rock it on every Zoom till the end of
All
the
of
year.
December.
Okay, here we go.
We're all working in the same office.
Yep. We're all here together. Oh, let me make you co-host, Heather, in case you need to do anything.
There it is. There it is, Heather.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Rachel, you know you want to rock an EXP background.
I know.
I
Rocket. It's all right. Yeah, so today we have the one and only Heather from Ravelworks joining us, and she is an ISA company, so she makes my calls for me because I don't want to. So I have her do it, and sometimes she has people from her team, and her team's pretty amazing too. So she's here today to talk about what she does, some tips on how to help you make calls if you want to tackle it. And if not, if you mention that you are on today's Thursday's tips and tricks, she will give you a special discount code if you want to hire her and her team.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm gonna warn you guys in advance. Carrie already knows I'm not good with group speaking. I'm amazing on the phones. I'm very good at handling objections, but when it comes to groups, I start sweating into the whole thing. So I'm gonna apologize now. I talk too fast. So I guess I don't know if I should start with questions. I don't know. Part of I think one of the things that Carrie and I were talking about yesterday was the long-term game, right? So you have 1 to 2% of people that come in that are ready now, and you can get that conversion up by talking to them, and maybe you might get it to 3%. But the reality is there's not very many people that are coming into your database fresh that are ready now. So the money is in the old leads. The money is in nurturing them, just having conversations with them. A really good example of this is I had a lead. It wasn't for Carrie. It was one of my other clients, but she came in July. When I talked to her, she said that she didn't really trust real estate agents, that she was looking for an investor only. And I said, okay, that's understandable. I said, is there any reason you don't trust real estate agents? And she was just kind of like, well, they don't really do anything. I'd rather just sell it and, keep the profits. And so I kind of talked to her about what she wanted and et cetera, but she didn't want to sell until September or October. And so I was like, okay, I've got time to win her over. So I took her information, put her in the database, and put her on a drip campaign, especially for almost like I would a FISBO. Like you're trying to sell it on your own. Here's some tips for you, like a point of contribution. We heard you, we understand, but we're not pressuring you. So then August came around, let the automations do their thing, sent her a couple texts, didn't get anything back. September came, and this is when her timeline was. So, this is where we become a little bit more aggressive. And I said, hey, Kim, this is Heather. Just wanted to check in. I know that you said you were looking at investors. We've got a couple people. I'm not sure that they're, willing to give you what it is that you say you want. But either way, we should have a realtor come take a look at it, make sure the property's in the condition that you say it's in. And so she's like, okay, fine. So she has my realtor come take a look at it. They talked, they hit it off, and she still wasn't sold. So it was about a week after I had the realtor come take a look at it, I talked to her and I said, well, what did you think? And she's like, well, I was very impressed by him. He's great at what he does. He's like, but I'm not sure that I see the value in paying. And he went with the bold move of charging 7%, knowing that she was already on the fence. So I'm like, cool. But I told him, he's going to handle all the marketing. He's going to make sure. And this, keep in mind, this property of hers is kind of like your in Michigan, where the properties are 200, 250, somewhere in that
Right.
range. This is a $600,000 property. So this isn't gonna go in the market and sell. And that's what I tried to explain to her is like, you make it very clear to your leads, like you don't want a local expert, because she was gonna go with someone from Howard and Hannah who discounted their services. And the first thing I said to her is, if they can't negotiate their own commission, how do you expect them to work for you? And so I tried not to step on any toes, but also just, these are the facts. This is what it is. If you want the most money in your pocket, it's not going to come from a discount agent. It's going to come from a marketing expert. And she ended up signing the listing agreement in September. It has now gone live and pending for $30,000 more than she originally said she was bottom line. And as of November 28th, they're under contract and it should close in the next month or two. So that continuous just keep going. Even if they tell you no, it's almost not ever a no.
Right. It's never a no until they block you.
Exactly. Until
But
I
then
can't
that
get through
means
with
like,
you.
oh, you want me to mail you? I gotcha.
You want me to stop by?
Perfect. Same page. So,
But, yeah.
tell us a little bit about how long, like, so say I get a new lead coming in, or you pull up my old leads or whoever's old leads. How long and how often do you nurture them?
Okay, great question. So let's say we're doing, what's your home worth at, right? So people are clicking on it, just want to know what their home worth. So the first thing I do is I make sure I have all the information. So that part is super important, and I can give you guys some public skip tracing tools. I don't know if you know what skip tracing is, but basically it's just they give you their email address and address, and that's it. We're going to find their name. We're going to find their phone number. We're going to find their spouse's phone number. We're going to find every phone number to get them on the phone. And then as soon as we have all of that, I'm going to call them. And this is before I send any home bot report ever. I try really hard to talk to the leads before I send any information out. Because if you send it out and they don't know that it's a computer generated response, they immediately don't trust you if it's not the number they think they should get. So I try really hard to always get them on the phone before sending it out. And then as soon as I get them on, if they answer right away, that's ideal, obviously. But if they don't, I'm calling 2 times a day for the first week, and then I'm calling 1 time a day, and then I'm leaving a message every other time. For me, I also change my caller ID. I know you guys maybe don't have that luxury, but I don't want them thinking I'm stalking them, which I am. But if it's somewhere where it's
Wait. How do you change your caller ID?
well, that's the
Wendy's like, back up.
Right?
Fill me in on that.
Pro tip, if you don't have the kind of call center seat like I do, if you Google Voice will give you a number for every single email you have, even if it's your same. So just cycle through those babies. I have 20 Gmails. My kids have 20 Gmails. So that's what I would do.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'm leaving, sometimes it's Heather leaving a voicemail. Sometimes it's Lily in the office leaving a voicemail. We think the whole office wants them, right? But part of the things that I say to them when the lead comes in and that trigger goes out, I have one that's set up that says, "Hi, so-and-so, thank you so much for reaching out to us. We're working on your home evaluation report as we speak. Please expect it in the next 24 to 48 hours. If for whatever reason we're unable to complete your request, please expect a call from my assistant," and then whoever's name you want in there, as they will have questions in order to be able to complete it. So the reason for that trigger that goes out 5 minutes after that lead comes in is, 1, it handles that lead to speed, so if you can't call them right away, they have your attention. Number 2, they know to expect that it's going to take 24 to 48 hours, so they know the computer's not spitting out a response. Because that's the number one objection I get when I get on the phone is, well, I just expected the computer to tell me what it is. I didn't expect anyone to call me. So that eliminates that objection. Number 3, they know when I call that it's not a spam, it's not a robocall. This is an intended call because I need your help to do what I need to do to help you. And then number 4, they know that I need their help basically to be able to do this job, and I'm just an assistant trying to do my job, right? I'm just a little used. So then once they have that, then they tend to pick up like that. I noticed that when we started that automation, I got more pickups when I was calling. They weren't screening my call so much. And so when they pick up, then I'm like, hey, so-and-so, this is Heather with ABC Real Estate. I don't know if you got our text message, but I'm working on your home evaluation report, and I just have a couple questions before I can send it over. And they say, okay, what can I help you with? Because again, this guard is way down now. They're not in a pissy mood. I did all my objection handling before I even talked to them. And then as soon as they're like, yeah, what's up? I say, well, according to your, I have a couple different conflicting information, but it's saying that you have 3 bedrooms, 2,500 square feet, but you don't have any bathrooms. And HomeBot is famous for this, so it's not really a lie, because the information is almost never correct. But the whole point of saying it this way is just to get them to laugh. I want them to engage with me. I want them to get that walls down, but I want them to basically and then the other part is this lets them know that the computer is not 100% accurate. That is the whole seed I am planting right now. The computer is wrong. And then they say, and they always laugh, and then I'm like, well, how many bathrooms do you actually have? And they'll tell me 2. Okay, perfect. And are those full bathrooms, half baths? One's a full, one's a 3/4. Okay, awesome. And then before I hit resubmit, are there any other updates that you've done to the property? And then if I gain their trust and they're even remotely serious, this is when they spit out everything they've ever done, right? So anything up to the painting of the walls, the trim, if they are, and I want to ask them as many questions as possible. And I purposely actually have them hear me type, so that way they think I'm updating their home value report, but really I'm just leaving notes for you all so you know the condition of the home. And then during this part of the conversation, I try really hard to kind of ask them what made them click on the ad. So as I'm typing and they're doing their thing and we're engaging, I'm like, oh, and by the way, just out of curiosity, what made you click on our ad? Are you guys thinking about selling? Well, we're kind of contemplating it, maybe next year, whatever the timeline is. Okay, perfect. And then as soon as I have everything, I say, okay, well, let me update your report, and then I'll tell you what it comes back with. And then I wait a few seconds, and then I'm looking at RPR, or I'm frantically texting Carrie, or whatever it is I'm doing. But I'm basically having them wait. I want that curiosity to build. I want them with anticipation, wondering what that number is going to come back with. And then as soon as I have the answer I'm looking for, I tell them what the computer comes back with, and I usually give them HomeBot, because if for whatever reason they say no to the appointment, I have a backup. So I say, well, according to our systems here, it's saying that your properties were $230,000, but I'm going to be honest with you, I still don't think that's correct. I don't know if the system is glitching out. I don't know if this is just the computer can't keep up with the neighborhood changes, but I don't want you making a decision to do ABC real estate goal based on this number. I'm not a licensed realtor, so I can't tell you what I know it's worth, but what I can tell you is I know this number is wrong. And then they say, okay, well, kind of like, okay. And I said, what I think you should do is have a licensed realtor come take a look at it. It's a service that most realtors offer for free anyway. And then, they'll be able to kind of tell you what it's worth and how to help you achieve ABC real estate goals. So if it's moving in the spring, if it's, we don't want to, we're moving to Houston in September, whatever the real estate goal is, they're going to be able to help you get there. And and then they always say yes, right? Because at this point, I'm still not selling anything. I'm just telling them what I think they should do. As soon as I have that yes, that's when I go in for the kill. Then I'm like, well, actually, who I'd recommend is, whoever the real estate agent is. They're they're a neighborhood expert. They are, incredible at educating homeowners. They are passionate about what they do. They're going to be able to help you get to ABC real estate goal. Now, if I've gotten this far in the conversation, I've got a 90% conversion rate of getting the appointment every single time, because they're not going to say no to the person that I just recommended after they took my advice on saying yes. So then that's when I book the appointment and have you, go meet with them. This works because I'm an assistant. So if you guys want, I'm happy to kind of put that script out in a way that works for a real estate agent, but it helps them feel that that non-pressure. And
Right, it takes
if
the
it was me,
pressure
I'd
off.
be pretending I was an assistant. So, I don't know.
And so, real quick, I want to jump in, Heather, real quick. I used to have Conversion Monster make my calls. They're a huge ISA company, but they are very forward. They send out a lot of texts. Are you ready to sell your house? Are you ready to buy? And they're just so to the point. I have Heather going in a very nurturing way and serving way, and I have her do it. So it's like serving, but yet we are still selling you. You just don't know it because we take such a soft approach. So I love that she does that. And also I sent her over my flip books. So my for sale by owners, my expireds, my seller's guide, my buyer's guide. I sent her all of that. And she will send those to my people, whether they're ready to talk to me right now or not. She's still putting that in front of them so they have it. And another thing that I super, super love, live transfers. So if she's got someone on the phone, like a buyer that's like, yeah, I'm ready to rock, hold please. She'll put them on hold, get me on the phone. And while they're on hold, they don't just have dead air. There's like music playing and stuff. So it all seems very, very, legit. And we'll do a live transfer. So a lot of companies don't do live transfers, but that's one thing that I really, really love are the live transfers. And she calls all my expireds, all my FISBOs, all the unconditionally withdrawns. I use espresso, so I get all of that information. I get everything, all the expireds, everything like that. I even get for rent by owners in there. So if I do have a renter that can't buy yet, we'll still help them find rentals. And then I have a drip campaign from renter to buyer that I put them on as well. Okay, you can take back over, Heather.
No, that was that was actually perfect because one of the leads that came in was the renter. She was trying to hide from her husband, and that was what Carrie said. Put her on the rent drip. So that's what we did. And actually, I talked to her 2 days ago, and she has decided that she wants to buy. Granted, she's not going to be able to for at least 3 months, so she's not ready to quite meet with Carrie yet. But this whole time now, it's my job to nurture her until she's ready to meet with Carrie. So part of that, everything that we're doing, it's for the lead to feel like they are they're supported the entire time. So one of the things that I get back, one of the biggest feedback or objections that I get back is, I don't see the value in paying somebody thousands of dollars for them to open a door. And so I think the things that we do well here, especially, is we're very well versed on what agents actually do. So all the marketing that goes in the back, Carrie, getting your car detail, that making it. There's a reason that they charge what they charge, but their take home isn't thousands of dollars. It's they're putting that into you, and 90% of people don't have the money to put in upfront. So luckily your agent does. So that part is huge. And then the other side of it is they know that the agent cares because they are paying someone to make these calls, so that way they can focus on you during the transaction. So that's part of the I guess the benefit of having someone else make your calls. But if you're making it on your own and you choose to do that, the best advice I can give you is, like Carrie said, that point of contribution always coming from a point of service. Because if they feel like they can't do this on their own, which even me buying my house and being enthralled in real estate, it was an overwhelming process back in May. And I actually use that to my advantage here now that I'm talking to leads, because I know firsthand what it's like to have an agent that doesn't know what they're doing. I tried to be gracious and help this new agent, and it was a terrible idea, but I let them know kind of what could go wrong, which is why they want someone who's an expert. Don't make the mistake I did and hire someone who, didn't know what they were doing, or, isn't there able to support you when you need it, can't put out the fires. I don't want to know about the fires. That's if you think all your agent did was open a door, then they did a great job for you. And I always say that. But what I was going to say is, with the espresso in the the expired and the FISBO and the withdrawals, part of the reason that again, we are as successful as we are is because we are able to skip trace and find these people's phone numbers. Because the people that are in Vulcan and Mojo and Espresso, they're getting hammered. They are getting thousands of calls a day from different realtors, right? So that's what makes that especially difficult. So if you can find a way to find numbers outside of those, you're gonna have better success and you're gonna have conversations and you're gonna just have better conversions. So again, pro tip there, if you are making it yourself, find yourself a skip tracing tool to find people's phone numbers, because that's how you're going to get the listings over everyone else. And I actually say that, be like, I'm sure you're getting thousands of calls on XYZ number, but I wanted to show you first and foremost that we do things differently than anyone else out there. That's why I'm calling this phone number. And that, especially when they're like, how did you get this phone number? Well, I did my research.
It's public knowledge. Does anyone have any questions for Heather? You guys got to have some. No questions?
Everyone's nervous like I am.
Did you say how often you're on the phone working for Carrie? Like how during the day? Is it like 2 hours a day? Is it 1 hour a day that you're?
Carrie's an exception because she has thousands of leads in her database, so she needs a little bit more love than most of my other clients. But typically it ranges from 2 hours a day to 4 hours a day, sometimes 6, depending on the agent. With Carrie, I try really hard to, we were actually just talking about this yesterday, rather than just doing it in 2 hour blocks, I'm gonna try doing something a little bit different, which is get her leads right when they come in. So we're working on getting her KV Core actually to notify me when a lead comes in, so I can jump on it if I have time to, and if not, they're the first lead I'm going after. But yeah, typically it's 2 hours a day, and we try really hard to actually do the time blocks when we get the most answers. So depending on your area would be the time of day we call. So if it's, we see the first couple weeks is all about data collecting. So we're making calls from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, whatever it is. And then we're seeing how many people answer. Once we have that data collected and we get the most answers, then we start making the calls during those prime time hours, if you will. So we're trying really hard to make sure that we're getting as many people on the phone, because those no's are as important as those yeses, right? Because even those soft no's are, I'll call you back in, a month and a half when you're more prepared for this call, or, well, I'll send you over the report, but if you have any questions, please let me know. And then 2 weeks later, I'm saying, hey, I sent you that report. I noticed you were looking at it. Is there anything I can help you with? It's always from that point of contribution. But yeah, it depends on how many hours you want, how many answers we're getting. And the nice part about what we do is it's customized to you. So every single agent is handled differently because every single agent's needs are different. So there's not a one size fits all, which is why I think we're as successful as we are.
Right. And yeah, I think because I've been with Heather for a while, what I found is most agents do really well with just 2 hours a day of the calling. It's just
especially because
the crazy ones like me that I'm like, I want you to call 6 to 8 hours a day. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, and especially too, because all of our systems here are fully trained already. So you're not coming in having to teach anybody anything. They know KV Core, they know Follow Up Boss, they know Lofty, they know there isn't a CRM out there that we haven't used. And then all of our systems have 3 screens. So they are, well, actually all of them have 2, some of them have 3. But they are doing more in those 2 hours than most systems are doing in 8, because we are handling social media, we are making your calls, we're fixing drips, we're setting up automation. Like, we are trying to do it all. So in that very confined time, because it's not necessary to do any more than that, really.
And calls are recorded. So if you ever want to hear them, hey, can you send me some, my recordings so you can listen? So if you're like, I want you to handle it more like this, then you can help them that way too, but they're all recorded. Any other questions? We got like 4 minutes.
Do you drop like videos and stuff, video text messages in, or do you, like any of Carrie's videos or something like that?
There really isn't anything that you could want done that we don't do. So like I said, everyone is customized. Not everyone has videos, so we don't do it for everyone. But if that's something that you want us to do, absolutely. And with everything that's changed in the last 6 months, which is why, Carrie's been such a godsend, because when I took over, I completely changed everything. The way things were going, I didn't like it. I didn't like the trajectory. But the whole purpose was learning everything that I learned from when, I first started doing this and being able to put it in now. So being able to do what your agent needs was the game changer. What you need, Wendy, is not what Rachel needs, what Carrie needs. So if your audience responds to your video message, bet your ass we're putting video messages out there. Bet we're doing campaigns and drips and all the things. Absolutely.
Yeah, like she has my listing presentation, my video of that. So when she needs to, she'll pump that out there.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the other part too is I think, again, we have a little bit of an advantage because I do have agents across the country. So I see what works. I know what people are doing. I know when people are wasting money. So if there's ever a lead gen, you're like, hey, Heather, I'm thinking about using this. What do you think? I will tell you honestly what results have been for other clients. And you make the informed decision, because again, it's your business. My job and our job is to enhance your business, but we don't want you wasting money because, again, as we've learned, your ISA is only as good as your leads are. So if you're bringing in bold leads, for example, anyone here, I don't know if you've used bold leads, but they are terrible. And even on my best selling day, where I am in the zone and just converting everybody and everyone that picks up gets an appointment, I can't convert those because they're just not ready. They're just not good leads. So if there's ever advice that you guys want, even if you're not working with me, please feel free to message me. I am happy to help anything I possibly can.
Awesome.
And
I gotta
then
hop on to
can
the
you put
CP
your
class.
contact info in the chat? Rachel's asking for contact info of how you want everyone to get a hold of you.
Should I put here? I'll put my overview link in there. I think that's the easiest. So that way you guys can just schedule a call with me, and then, or I can send you emails. One of these days I'm gonna be done with the scary group feeling. There's like 7 people. Why am I so scared?
You're doing great.
Are you sure? Okay, good.
Yes.
Put the code in there, everyone. Thursday TT for the discount, and it's going to be a great discount. Heather and I talked about it, and she knows that a lot of agents need help, so it's going to be a phenomenal discount for you guys.
And it's, especially with it being winter, I want to set you guys up for as much success as possible. So again, I fully understand that this is a slow time of year. It's a scary jump, which is also why we don't have contracts. Part of the reason that we do, again, as well as we do, is because our assistants know that if they don't do a good job for their agents, they don't get those hours replaced. So I started that again when I took over, but part of the need to do well is they are fully invested in you, fully invested in your success. So they want to see you do well. They care about you. I mean, Carrie and I talk all the time. So you start to really become friends with your assistant, and they know that if there's an off week, like this week before Christmas, it's scary because we don't know if they're going to come back after Christmas. So we want to make sure our value is there, just like I'm sure you guys do with your leads when you have, clients. You want to make sure they see your value, because otherwise they're going to go to someone else, and we don't want that. We want you here for life. We want you set up for success. We want to scale your business. We want to be there. And selfishly, I'm addicted to the success story. So when people are like, hey, Heather or Ravelworks or whatever, I get a little bit of a high every time people are like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys. You guys are amazing. And so that's what we want. That's the feedback we want to hear from you at all times. So whatever we need to do to get you successful, that's what we're going to do. And if it means that you get a hell of a discount to start to see our value, it's well worth it.
Yes. Did you put your info in the chat, Heather?
I'm working on copy and pasting it
do
right
that.
now.
And while she's doing that, one thing that I truly, truly love about Heather and her team that I've worked with is most of us, when we make our calls and they're like, no, I'm not interested. No, I didn't click on that. We're like, all right, bye. They don't take the, no, I didn't do that. They keep questioning. They keep the conversation going. And after probably a few minutes of that, then the lead starts to open up like, oh, all right, they feel more comfortable. But what I saw with most agents is the second they're like, why are you calling me? No, I didn't register for that. What I find is agents are like, oh, all right, sorry, bye, didn't mean to bother you. And then set them up on a drip campaign and call it a day. But I
And
just,
a lot of leads, they really do want your help, but they're scared to talk to you. Like they want to say no because they're so used to being scared to be sold to. Like if you just get past that, oh well, if you didn't, what, out of curiosity, what made you click on our ad? Like I'm always going in with, well, was this an accident? Did somebody get your info? Like once I get them to admit that it was them, it's game over from there. And even if it's no, I don't need your help right now, we are value propping. We are giving them, this is why we're here. Listen, even if I never talk to you again, at least you'll know what your home is worth. Let me send you, your home evaluation report the computer comes back with.
right.
There's no harm in that, right? And always ask too, like, is it okay if I follow up with you at such and such a time? Oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and then we'll reconvene in a month. Like, always give yourself that window. And then the other thing that, do you know anyone else that might need my help? I know you said you don't need my help, but is there anyone else? Remember that girl that her information got stolen, and all of a sudden she's like, well, actually, I didn't
Yeah.
go this spring. That was a crazy call.
Yeah. All right. Get your stuff in the chat because our time is up.
Okay,
And one more thing while she's putting her info in the chat is Heather does a lot of like circle prospecting for me. So if my buyer is like, I'm looking for something very specific, then what she does is she will circle prospect, and this is true cold calling. She will call all the neighbors in that area if you're looking for a specific neighborhood or whatever they're looking for. And with her skip tracing and the things that she's able to do and utilize, she literally calls every single homeowner and asks them, hey, I have this buyer, they're looking for blah, blah, blah. Does that fit your home type? If so, are you willing to sell? What is your sale price? So she truly, truly will cold call. She's done that for me. She actually did that for me with my one client, Judy, when she was looking for a specific condo only in a certain part of Howell. And we got her the condo, we closed, I sold her house, everybody's happy.
No
So
big deal.
no, I'm not gonna circle prospect. Nope, not doing it.
And we will send you the list. So not only will we make the call, but we'll also get the list together for you.
So
if
you
there's
can
a
upload
ABC
that
1,
to
2,
your
3 Main Street.
CRM.
Yep, exactly.
All right, guys, her info is in the chat. Go ahead and grab that. I will also put her info in the group, my Thursdays tips and tricks in the group. And it'll be there. So hopefully you guys reach out to her. She's very, very helpful, and I'm so grateful for her. And I will see you guys next week.
Bye guys, thank you.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, guys.